Lee?
Yeah, I think given the circumstances here, there is going to be an investigation. We do need to know exactly what we're being asked to do, and the decision we make will be based on the complaint and anything that goes into the complaint. I think at this point what we probably need to do would be to stick with listening to what the attorney has to say.
Is that an amendment to the motion?
No, I think it's good part of the discussion at this point. I'm not going to amend it at this point.
Mr. Sellers, you have the floor.
I would like to have further clarification of the process. Okay, the process is, let's say there is an investigation, then what happens?
The ethics ordinance is silent on this point, but what I would recommend from a legal standpoint is because this is an investigation authorized by the governing body, there should be a formal written finding made regarding the merit of the complaint.
Now, does that mean that as the investigator, that investigator takes testimony from people under oath?
Under the city's charter, this board has the authority to take testimony under oath, and there is a provision in the charter that allows the delegation of that power to take testimony under oath. And so if it would be the board's preference that any statements made be made under oath, then I think that's an appropriate instruction to give for the investigation.
Because excuse me, if we get into, I don't want to turn this into a kangaroo court, and I want to make sure everything is done properly, and because we have people's lives, reputations, careers, involved here. This is not a roll of the dice kind of thing. It's, and the fact that there's no defined process in place, whereas in a court of law, if you have a criminal investigation, you do have specific processes. I get uneasy with, like, for lack of a better expression, making things up as we go as to how we're going to do this. So, do we need to define a process before if it's necessary to have a process, do we need to meet some bounds around it just so as to how this thing's going to happen? Because what happens when the investigation's over? Then what happens? Does it go to court?
No, it comes back to this body to make a determination as to whether the complaint has merit or has no merit.
Following the investigation.
Following the investigation.
And then what?
And then if you determine that it has merit, then you have to, if you determine it has no merit, then the complaint is closed, and that's the end of that. Okay. If you determine that it has merit, then you have under the violation section that I just read, then you have the ability to take any action that the charter authorizes with respect to the member of the board, or you also have the option that's added by this ordinance to censure the member that has been found to violate the ethics ordinance.
Okay. And then if there's anything criminal or civil involved in it, that's outside of the boundaries of this investigation.
It is outside.
Even though this may be used as evidence? Is this? Okay. All right, thanks.
The question that I would have to, during any investigation, we have to know exactly what you're looking for. Do we know what the burden of proof is? Is it going to be a preponderance of evidence? Is it going to be beyond a reasonable shadow? Obviously, in criminal court and civil court, there are two sets of facts that you're looking for.
In this matter, I think you're looking at the same standard that's ordinarily applied in a civil situation, which is preponderance of the evidence.
And the next question is, what is the investigation? I think this is where they were going. What are the limitations? Are we investigating only what is written in the complaint, or are we investigating beyond that?
Well, all that is before you right now is what is in the complaint. If you authorize an investigation and there's additional information that's developed that goes beyond the scope of the complaint, that raises any other questions, I think those would have to be addressed separately. Because the authority for the investigation will be limited to what you prescribe.
To what was written in the complaint?
Because the commission has to make a determination as to whether the complaint has merit or not. I think that is within your discretion to prescribe the methods by which you are going to make that decision. This investigation is for your benefit. so that you can make an informed decision. And so, I think to the extent that if you authorize an investigation, if the investigator identifies additional issues that come out during the course of the investigation but may not be part of the original complaint, I think that those are matters that probably should be brought to your attention. And then it would be, it's my recommendation that the results of the investigation be in written, formal findings of the merits. And when it's very vague in terms of it says the merits, I think that includes both the factual and legal merits of the complaint. My recommendation is that if you do authorize an investigation, that you put a time limit on when you would expect to get some type of an initial report back.
I think probably, given the circumstances tonight, it'd probably be a good idea, and I don't have a problem with public comment. Again, I'm not going to try and restrict anybody from coming up here and speaking at Mike, but I'm assuming that people are here in support of Hatton, Wright, and maybe people here in support of the mayor. To get up and say Hatton's a great guy and we love him and she did nothing wrong, would be great, but would not have any bearing on what we're here for tonight. Right, exactly. So what I would probably do is go up there, agree with what Commissioner Bradshaw said, and just ask if you are here to support Hatton, that is a great thing. If you're here to support the mayor, that's a great thing, but neither one of them are on trial tonight. That is not what we're here about tonight. So, I'm assuming probably if you have something to add to in the investigation, that would be looked at later on down the road. If there is an investigation called forward and ample opportunity to be given to anybody to get input. Am I correct?
I think that certainly can be included in the investigation.
I think probably what I'm looking for is maybe just to let folks know that now is a good time for us to approach this and approach it very slowly, very methodically, handle the business of the city, and understand that what we've got here is serious, but it's not testimonial in nature tonight. So I would go along with Mr. Bradshaw at this point and allow for the comment. And I guess we need to call for a vote to that effect.
I need to check a technical question. Ms. Snyder, may you hear me when the microphone is turned toward the city attorney? I can see you. You can nod yes or no.
That's new. She said yes.
Did she say yes?
So nodded her head yes.
Okay. All right. So the motion is to allow a statement by Mr. Wright and allow citizen comments at this special meeting. Are you all ready to vote? Is there, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions?